Newcastle United have completed their pre-season tour over in Austria. Jamaal Lascelles will remain captain of the club going into next season. Joe Shelby looks set to receive a new 12-month contract, and Eddie Howe is very aware of the issues we are having in front of goal. Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. I hope you guys are all doing well. I am on fire. It's probably the best way to put it. It is so hot right now, but we are back for our weekly roundup of Newcastle news. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to do so. We've got loads to get through today, and we do this every week, so do not miss out on a video. Newcastle have now completed their pre-season tour over in Austria. 9-day trip it was in the end, with 2 games. We won one, we lost the other. We beat Munich 1860, a great 3-0 win. It was one that we would have hoped to have won, a 3rd division German side, and then we did lose 1-0 against Mainz yesterday, which was a tougher opponent, a Bundesliga side who finished 8th last season. Generally, however, I would say that we had the better game. We had more of the ball. We created some decent chances. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And we will talk about this a little bit more, because Eddie Howe has done a fantastic interview where he touches on this, talks about the fact that we are still very much in the market for players. And we will come on to that in a second. But generally, the trip looked fantastic. The scenic views in the stadiums were amazing, and again, I keep crediting Newcastle United. Literally, daily videos, daily photos. Again, I'm living it, I'm breathing it. It's totally different from what we've had that I can ever remember. Social media can sometimes not be the best, but this is a great example of how good it can be. To be able to feel like you're away with the side has just been amazing. And we haven't got long before we head off on our next pre-season tour. We are heading to Portugal in less than a week's time now. We play Benfica next Tuesday, so a week today we play Benfica 8 o'clock at night. There are still tickets available for that game, so if you do fancy yourself a last minute trip out to Portugal, you can get on the website and you can buy a ticket. Again, because of the training ground refurbishment, we are pretty much away for the most of this month. And to be honest, it's probably colder out there. In fact, I've not been long got home from Portugal. I had a great weekend away. It's hotter here. So, if anything, it's not hot weather training, it's cold weather training. But yeah, we'll be heading off to Portugal before long. Speaking of buying tickets, you can now buy tickets for Newcastle's first away game of the season. We play Brighton on the 13th of August, 3 p.m. kickoff. They are on sale as of right now on the Newcastle website, but you need 150 loyalty points to get one, which is quite a few, and I'll be honest, I don't have that many points. I'm not too far behind that, but I have a little bit more waiting to do before I can get my ticket for the Brighton game. Again, it is the first away game of the season. I had a feeling they would start very high on this one. We've seen how crazy everyone's been going for the season tickets for the first home game against Nottingham Forest. I had no doubt they were going to put them on quite high for the Brighton game. So, if you have got the points and you do want to go, get on there and get your ticket. If not, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. And if you're looking to go to a game at St James's Park, the Man City tickets are set to go on sale this Thursday at 10 a.m. So that's our second home game of the season. We play Man City at 4:30 on the 21st of August, which I'm assuming must be a Sunday if it's at 4:30. Yes, it is. It's on a Sunday, which is never my favourite time for a kickoff. But if you did want to go to that game, tickets go on sale this Thursday, 10 a.m. for members and season ticket holders only for now, which again I know caused quite a lot of controversy last time round, but that looks like it's how they're doing it. We'll have to wait and see if anything changes, and I've no doubt more tickets will go on sale in due course. But Yeah, there's a lot going on with tickets right now. There is still tickets available for the 2 friendlies at the end of this month. So if you did want to go to that, you still can. The Benfica tickets are on sale, and the Brighton tickets are on sale, and then the Man City ones will not be far behind. Joe Shelby looks set to sign a new 12-month deal with the club. He did an interview while out in Austria where he said some great things to start off with. He said how much he's loving playing for Newcastle right now, how he's improving, how the side is improving, and how he wants to continue playing for the club. He then went on to say that he believes he has around 3 more games to go, and then we'll have the option to extend his contract by an additional year. So right now, he is in the final year of his deal. His deal would have ended next summer, but let's be honest, he's going to play 3 more games in the next 12 months. And from everything he's saying, he definitely wants that 1-year extension. So effectively, Joe will now be here for the next 2 seasons. Let me know your thoughts on that. Are you happy to see Joe Shelby get that extension? Would you have potentially have not been upset had he played 1 more year and gone? Generally, it's great to hear him say the fact that he's loving it and he wants that extension. It wasn't obviously revealed in detail how the extension works exactly. If I want to try and add 2 and 2 together and get 5, the way I would see it is that obviously had he not played enough games, then he might not have wanted to have stayed. You know, there's no point in the club extending his contract if he wanted to go. So it kind of sounds like the ball's in his court a little bit and that he wants the extension. So he's been a great player for the club. The only thing that I would potentially say is we are still constantly looking to bring in new players this summer, and I've no doubt that next summer we'll want to do the exact same. Could we get to next summer and maybe have looked to improve in the midfield, or am I just overthinking it? Quite possibly. At the end of the day, I think Joe is a very solid player, and is good for the side, and he has improved. It's strange to say it about a player who's older, and a couple of seasons ago I was probably saying he's lost his legs and can't play anymore. I just think with the better players around him can often make his long passes look even better than they even are. He's a very good passer of the ball, but if you're passing it to someone who can't control it, it's not going to look like a great ball, is it? So he has certainly been a lot better over the last 6 months, like most players have. And yeah, I think I'm happy with it. But let me know your thoughts down below. Speaking of Joe getting a new deal, a player who looks set to leave the club is Dwight Gale. It's been revealed in an interview with Eddie Howe that Dwight Gale is effectively set to go this summer. It's not really new news, but Eddie Howe has effectively said to Gale he's wishing him the best and hopes that he can go and find football at another club this summer. He is the only player left of the 3 that got sent down to the under-23s. Clark, Hendrick have both moved on now. Gale, in fairness, is being linked with 3 or 4 clubs, which actually is why I think it's taking a little bit longer. He's weighing up his options. He's being linked with Birmingham, Reading, where Hendrick's already gone. He's being linked with Preston. He's being linked with Huddersfield. He's got a lot of options. So in a way, I think that he's actually taking his time to try and get the one that he wants, the one that he knows he'll get the most game time in. I mean, you look at Reading, where Hendrick's gone, they've signed a few players. So that's a team clearly pushing for at least a playoff spot. Maybe that one could be a good move for him as well. And he'd know Hendrick when he gets there. Or maybe he doesn't like Hendrick, who knows? Maybe he wants to make sure he goes somewhere else. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, we kind of all knew it already. But Eddie Howe has effectively come out and confirmed that he himself has wished Gale the best of luck and hopes that he can go and find some first-team football. Not that I imagine any of you guys will disagree, to be honest, but let me know your thoughts on Gale down below. I assume most of you guys believe it's time for him to move on as well, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. And again, he's been a fantastic player for us, great player in the Championship, but he hasn't played in so long. I think the same as Eddie Howe, wish him the best and hope that he can go and find that football somewhere else. Jamaal Lascelles will remain Newcastle captain going into next season. Let me know your thoughts on that one down below. I think that one could well split some of you guys in the comments. I myself am still a little bit 50-50 on the decision, but fully agree with what Eddie Howe has said. Again, it was great to hear him come out and do an interview and speak very openly about some of these topics, one of which, again, is the fact that Jamaal Lascelles will remain captain. He went on to basically say that he's a fantastic leader on and off the pitch, and did say that should he be unable to play due to injury or otherwise, he's obviously trying to be nice about that one, because I can't see Lascelles starting ahead of Burn, Shaw or Botman. So you'd imagine that Lascelles won't play the majority of games, and then he can give it to somebody else. So he's keeping the behind the scenes happy. He's keeping the team happy who have looked up to Lascelles for quite a long time. Because again, back when Rafa gave Lascelles the armband, he was a young, upcoming lad. It was great, and he obviously cared about the club. Again, I remember when he had bust-ups with Mo Diarmi in the training ground because Lascelles didn't believe he was working hard enough. So all of this kind of stuff is brilliant to hear. And you know, for Lascelles, I've no doubt he's disappointed that he's lost his spot in the side. But again, Eddie Howe is clearly trying very hard to keep that togetherness of the club. That's why we saw them on the bikes while out in Austria. That's why we saw them go-karting. It's not just about the training, it's about the team togetherness. And we can't deny that since Eddie Howe came in, brought in this team togetherness, brought in the leadership pack. So it's not just Lascelles, it's Dan Burn, it's Trippier, it's a few of the lads, it's Joe Shelby, I'm sure, it's Callum Wilson. You know, he's brought everyone together. And you know, to exile Lascelles probably wouldn't go down particularly well. So instead, he's gone, right, Lascelles, you can stay captain, you can continue to be part of everything that's going on here. But when he's not playing, I imagine it will be Trippier, who we've already seen wear the armband while out in Austria. Could be Dan Burn, it could be one of a few players. Again, one thing I loved while watching the Mainz game, or Mainz game, was that you could literally hear Dan Burn screaming at the top of his lungs for Willock to mark a player. And that just shows, you know, you don't need to be captain to have a voice out on that field. And I think that very much relates to what Eddie Howe's done here. You know, we've got a great group of lads. Clearly, everyone is on a high right now. Everybody wants to do what's best for the side. Again, Shelby, another experienced player, coming out and saying he wants the extension. He wants to be part of this club. And yeah, I think it's probably the right decision. Let me know your thoughts down below, because prior to this, I did say that I wanted Trippier to be captain. I think a lot of people did. And had that happened, I would have been very for that as well. I think it's almost just trusting the process right now. There's no reason to not believe or trust in what Eddie Howe has to say, so I will totally get on board with what's going on here. And as I mentioned, I don't think Lascelles will start many games this season, which means the chances are Trippier will be captain for 90% of the games anyway. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Eddie Howe has spoken on the fact that we do need to improve in front of goal, we do need to improve in the final third, and also spoke on the difficulties we've had this summer on trying to bring in new attacking players. He actually said that the label of a rich club has really made it difficult for us to bring in players. Again, we've been linked with a whole host. Gordon, Harrison, Isaac, Diaby, Calvert-Lewin, Ivan Toney most recently, and new links coming out with Paqueta. It's reported that Lyon have not quite had the bids they wanted and could well drop the price tag to around 40 million. Let's hope that's true, and maybe we can see a signing come in very soon. But effectively, we've been linked with a whole host of players, and Eddie Howe has basically said that it's been tough because everyone is asking for more money than we're potentially willing to part ways with. But he did also speak about the fact that throughout this pre-season, he has spent the majority of his time working on the defensive setup. Obviously, we've brought in Nick Pope, Target and Botman. And again, you build from the back, you play from the back. It sounds like Eddie Howe has spent the majority of the pre-season so far. Because again, I mean, the clock is ticking down. We're looking at around 2.5 weeks now till the start of the new season. 2.5 weeks? Yeah, pretty much. It's creeping up quick. Eddie Howe has said that he now wants to spend a lot more time improving in that final third, almost as if he spent the first half of pre-season looking after the defence. Now he's going to go ahead and spend more time with the strikers. Don't get me wrong, I think we definitely would have had some time spent with the attacking players, but I've no doubt that he wants to really get Botman involved in this squad, so it wouldn't surprise me if he spent quite a lot of time with him and Nick Pope, making sure that that defence is all connected, not just going, I'm sure it'll be fine, start the season, and they're not quite adjusted to each other. So I get that, but there's no denying we need to spend quite a bit of time in that attacking third. Again, you look at Bruno was brought in last season to be that deep-lying playmaker. He ended up becoming the attacking midfielder because someone needed to score the goals. The numbers from wide positions hasn't been good enough. And again, the reports that we could well risk it and go in with just Callum Wilson and Wood next season. From what Eddie Howe's saying, it's not because Eddie Howe wants to do that. It's because we might have to do that because we are struggling to bring in a new striker or a new attacking player. Again, I think we will bring in players. I am not overly worried. I would like for it to happen sooner rather than later. Again, the time is ticking down. The quicker we get these players in, the more time they have with the squad. But if it comes down to it, I think we will go out and buy a striker. I think we will go out and buy a winger. I think it will happen. Will it be the players that we're currently linked with? Will it be the Diabys? Will it be the Isaacs? Will it be the Paquetas? Possibly not. But I think we will have plan B, plan C, plan D. I think we are currently doing our best to bring in plan A. Again, there's new links with Diaby that Bayer Leverkusen are willing to listen to from their original, there's no way we're going to let him go, to the now, we're willing to listen to offers. You know, in 2 weeks' time, that 60 million could have dropped to 40 million, and there you go, we've signed Diaby. So I think with a bit of time, something will happen, but it was very interesting to hear Eddie Howe himself come out and talk about this. And again, as I say, the label of rich club has made it tough to potentially bring in those option A players that we're looking at, but that he hasn't given up. We are still working on it, and that he is going to put in extra time with the attacking players we currently have to try and improve in that area. Again, you know, we're very early on. We'll have to see what happens in the Benfica game. We'll have to see what happens in the 2 pre-seasons. I just think that creatively, I thought we did okay. I thought that there was times where we looked all right. I think Bruno played some nice balls. On another day, the one that Chris Wood skied over the bar and hit round the post, and the one where Callum Wilson blasts it off the keeper's face, and the one where he just can't get his head on for the goal, we could have been winning 4-1. And then we could have come out of that going, we did all right, didn't we? So we definitely need to improve it. But again, on another day, that might not have been quite as... It felt like we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's what, coming out of that game, felt a little bit like we need to do something. Part of me also felt waking up this morning, on a different day, if Chris Wood had his different shooting boots on, maybe you could have put them in the net. But the point is, Eddie Howe's very aware of it, and we will have to see how we get on for the rest of these next few weeks. And again, even when the season starts up, we still have the whole of August. So there is still quite a lot of time in the window. The amount of time those players have to gel with the team is running down, but there is still quite a lot of time in the window. Let me know your thoughts on Eddie Howe's comments regarding the current players that he wants to work with and improve. Let me know your thoughts on the window in general. Can we risk it with Wilson, or do we need to do something? And there you have it, guys. That is another episode of Toon Tuesdays. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are still watching right now, because I think it was quite a long episode, quite a lot to talk about today. But we do this every Tuesday, so hit that big red button. Do not miss any future videos. And I am on the daily upload right now, Newcastle content every single day, so be sure not to miss out. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. As always, again, like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.